I don't know why these poor people have to hear me humming, but this is what they're gonna get today. Okay, they were hearing me humming. There we go. Hey. Welcome, everybody. Unfortunately, you have to hear me hum, but that's all good. I'm practicing my vocals. Me. So welcome to another episode of Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And as usual, we will introduce ourselves.
Hi there, I am Carcia. I'm so excited to be here with my ladies on another episode of Not Your Typical Girl Talk.
Hey there, so sorry. My name is Tully. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Typical Girl Talk. I am so honored to be here with my two sisters. As I always say, there's always something for us to say. There's never a dull moment, and today is once again one that you will not want to miss.
And I am the final member of our little girl crew, a little girl group, as I like to call it. My name is Toshiba, and welcome to Not Your Typical Girl Talk. For those of you who are listening to us on Radio Regent, thank you for joining us again. And if you aren't already following us on all of our social medias, what are you waiting for? Look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And so, this week's episode, let me just lean back a little bit here.
Yes, girl, I don't blame you.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, and this is something definitely,
because, you know, we titled this week's episode Love Goals, right? Who leads, who follows? And as usual, y'all know that I love to cruise on Facebook and see things. And of course, I saw a post about, you know, a man leading and, you know, his woman should follow clearly if he's got clear direction. And the responses were very interesting. But I'm going to ask you ladies to start the show. Do you feel that in a relationship, there needs to be or has to be someone who leads? And then, of course, someone who then subsequently follows?
I do. I do feel that someone should lead, whether it's the man or the woman, but I do feel that someone should lead. Someone has to have some kind of direction to say, you know what, or even like, I shouldn't say, I'll put it like this. Someone should lead, but also be kind of like almost 60-40, where there's still room to lead together, but at the same time, one or two of them, either the wife is leading, the man is behind them, slowly giving them ideas, but still following them. Or vice versa, whether it's the man leading or the woman's giving the man ideas and they both fall together. It's a partnership, but I do feel that someone should lead. That's where I stand.
So I look at it in the same way how people would say look at business. Because I really do believe it's the same strategy. I do believe that, girl, listen, the key word was a word that Telly actually just used, which is partnership. And the thing is, what makes a strong business partnership is knowing that your partner is better at a certain thing than you. So, listen, this is why people have partnerships in business, right? Some people are the marketing brain. They're really creative. They know how to market a business, but they know nothing about money, right? But their partner is the financial genius who knows the economy, knows how to work the dollars, knows how to do the accounting. So I think my whole thing is that at certain times, certain people have to lead and certain people have to step back. I think that's healthy. That's just me. I know that some people are gonna probably disagree.
Look out for the feminist angry people, the feminist women. Oh, girl power all day, every day.
Yeah, and I do consider myself a feminist, so.
She flips her hair like,
Listen, Linda. And I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to speak from a personal standpoint. I personally can't be with a man who I don't trust to lead me. Right? Because the Bible says heed to your husband, right? And then you guys are more spiritual than I am. So at the same time, because of what you guys have both said, because it's a partnership, I know that there are strengths and weaknesses that we will have. And again, we've talked about this in previous episodes. There is power in our femininity because there are things that we're going to be able to do as women that as men that they won't be able to do, and vice versa. You know, my partner always says to me, he's like, you know, you can get into doors I can't necessarily get into, and vice versa. And so there are going to be times that my light is shining a little bit brighter, but it doesn't mean that his is dim, right? And we always talk about this idea that, you know what, not everybody at that moment can be the lead singer in the band. Sometimes you need to be the person who's playing the triangle and that ting, but that ting is just as important as the lead singer singing, because that ting is saying something in that song, right? And so we talk about that. I personally don't believe in 50-50. I think, like, what are we in a transactional, like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not creating a transaction here. There are going to be times that I'm giving 80 and he's giving 20, just because what I am good at requires me to be at 80. Or it might require me to be at 100, and the same with him. But I also, personally, for me, I can't be with a partner who I don't trust for me to step back and lead. I'm going to say, like, this is the interesting part about my boyfriend, which I like, he said something to me that I thought was interesting that I didn't realize in the moment. So we were taking a cross-country trip from New York to Greensboro, North Carolina, and then from Rochester, New York, to Greensboro, North Carolina, and from Greensboro, North Carolina to New York City. It was quite the trip, and we clearly did it. And I remember saying, okay, babe, like, whenever you are ready, you get tired, like, let me know and I'll take over. Well, needless to say, that entire trip, I never drove. I was like, okay, he would take little breaks, and I just didn't drive. And while we were in New York, I met up with a childhood best friend, and he happened to be talking to her, and we were talking about the trip. And he said, what would I look like stepping out of the passenger seat of a car as my woman drives? So what does that look like? So he said, I would rather take breaks and get there a little later, but I just cannot be in a situation, because my job, he feels his job is to protect me, and he's not going to put me in a position where I may be in harm. And listen, I think I'm a great driver, but for me, women, they're like, oh my God, like, that's, for me, I was like, thank you. Because that made me realize that he was putting my safety and my security above anything else. And yes, it may have been just as simple as a cross-country drive, but it was one hell of a drive, right? And so in that moment, this was him leading. But, you know, even on that trip, there were times that I led with certain things, right? I just was never in the driver's seat, but I was leading in certain aspects. And so that's kind of how I feel about things. And it's okay. The feminists can come for me.
No, that's
you know,
okay.
You know they're going to.
I'm
they're going to come with their forks and fire sticks.
I'm pretty sure that you played some part in navigation or something. There was a purpose for you to be in the passenger seat at the time. And, you know, you brought up this point of, you know, men wanting to feel that they need to protect, and they need, you know, I remember, and this has happened with me with numerous guys. If I'm driving and I stop at a gas station, I don't have to ask. And it's funny, doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter what age, they jump out of the car before I do, and they're like, filling it up, and they will fill it up for me. I don't have to come out of my car, because they're like, I'm the man. I'm filling up the car. Like, I'm driving in your car in the passenger seat. The least I can do is come out of the car. You in the car, keep warm. I will fill up the tank.
I love that.
You know, and this is something that this word chivalry. It's
not that.
It's a rarity.
Where women keep saying
these days.
Chivalry is dead. I'm like, well, maybe it's dead because we've killed it.
That's it. If chivalry is dead, women have killed it, because we want to hold the door ourselves. We want to open the jar ourselves. We want to do everything ourselves. I'm strong. I don't need a man to help me. And then you get mad when a man isn't coming after you, like, why can't I get nobody? It's like, well, maybe because you scare them off with your manliness. Like,
girl, listen, before we add that, thank you. We've got someone who's piping in, and thank you, Nate. And she basically says, I agree with you. Different times and situation may require a different amount of strength from each partner. You can't always be 50-50. Sometimes you have to give more or less, and it doesn't take away from either one of you. But I believe in a man leading still. Yes, girl, that was that West Indian with the still.
Yes. I mean, we can't take away from science, right? Science has taught us that, you know, different sexes have different hormones, and these hormones allow for you to behave in a certain way, act in a certain way. Why are we denying our natural DNA, our natural build? I don't understand. I don't understand how to be equal means to bash another race.
right.
And I find that we are going to miss out on a lot of successful relationships and marriages if we hold on too hard onto this. I'm an independent, strong woman. I don't need nobody. I don't need you. You're just a nice to have. I don't need you.
Okay.
Like, where did this rhetoric come from?
Girl.
And why can't we change it? Why can't it be a more free-flowing world where it's like, you know what, hun? You are better with dealing with the contractor. I'll let you deal with the contractor. When it's time to decorate, call me. I will be off watching whatever. I will go watch Iona Fix
There's
My Life.
nothing wrong with
something.
that.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, why is it such an issue? Why? Look, I don't know anything about 2x4s. I don't know anything.
I know how to
about
pick one up and lick some.
Right. I know. If you need help with the IKEA furniture, okay, that's actually a great analogy.
Okay, awesome.
Okay,
That happened
so,
this week.
IKEA furniture. IKEA furniture is one of these things where you literally need about like a village to help you set up one bloody cupboard.
need to
because there's so many pieces.
And the square root of 65 over, not like, they come with no instructions, right?
Girl, listen. These rough photos
Just bad
that were
photos.
literally drawn by some 4-year-old child. I don't know, but
That's
you're
IKEA.
looking. So this thing is that I actually somewhat have a gift for understanding IKEA furniture instructions.
You're good.
Don't ask me how.
Tell your service.
However, I am not good at handling screwing things in tightly enough and, you know, that sort of thing. That's not me. So I like to call upon people that are better with hand tools than I am. So when I set up furniture, I like to call on my father because he's an electrician. So he's got the power drill and he comes in and he just goes, and things are screwed together. And I say, okay, it looks like we need to put these two boards together at this end.
Ah, you see?
And then I leave it and then he does it. And he's like, you know what? We should try doing, you know, and it's a partnership.
That's it.
And because it's a partnership, we get it done. Now imagine if I came in with my not knowing anything ass and started saying, yeah, listen to me, I know what's going on here, you put this with this, and here, give me this, I know how to do and then when I do it now, the whole thing busts up, mash up when I try to put my base on it, and it's all because I couldn't take away from being the leader for 5 minutes.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Like, seriously, all of that. And, you know, Talia mentioned earlier about the idea of the, let me go open the doors by myself. Let me open this pickle jar by myself. Like, and the man is there. I'm going to tell you, I'm not doing any of that. I don't do any of that. I don't open doors.
You are.
I don't like, I literally stand in front of a door and my boyfriend opens it. The car door. I will get out of the car at the gas station and he will go in and then when he comes back out of the gas station, he'll actually open it for me to go back in the car. Like he's not having it. Like he's just, for him, he's not having that. Like, because it takes away from him being a man, and it takes away from him treating me and allowing me to be in my feminine space. And I've said it over and over again. No straight man wants to date another man. So when we're going in with our, I don't want you this, that, and I'm gonna, like, enough, girl.
Enough.
we need to embrace our feminine sides, and it's okay to be female. It's okay to say, and I used to say this and then I stopped saying it, but I've recently picked it up back again. But you know, it's this idea of, I cannot lift this. Can you help me, young man over here?
That's it.
And the man always says yes. They don't say no, and they're more than happy to do it. And they're like, is there anything else that you need help with? I can help you with so much, with other things too. Like, I just don't, I really want people to understand, you know, what we're saying here. It's not even a matter of you're giving your power away. And I feel that somewhere we got lost in translation with, for you to be feminine, that means that you're giving your power away. And that's not what it means at all. As we discussed with that idea of partnership. The reason why partnership is awesome is because some people are better at one thing than the other, right? So if you take two people together, right? And they're both good at stuff and they work together and lead when it's their time to lead, yo, you're gonna have a marriage last for as long as you're both alive.
Y'all can't see what's
teaching. I'm over here like in church, girl.
Right?
Catching
the spirit.
Catching the spirit. Got it, Jesus.
Because we feel that, oh, if I start acting like a woman, which I am, that means I'm giving away my power. No, it doesn't.
Listen, again, just because his light is shining does not make yours dim.
Exactly.
Just
even like our friend Uniquely.
Yeah, let's look at our comment here. Don't kill me, but I blame feminists for this shit in men and their manliness. Hell yes, girl.
Yes, Uniquely.
I am one of these that believe in equality for women in terms of respect and validation, but I want my man to do the things I grew up seeing my granddad did for me and doing what my grandma did. Nothing wrong with a woman cooking and cleaning, and there is nothing wrong with a man fixing and treating me delicate. I don't want a woman, and I am not a man.
Uniquely. Thank you.
So thank you for the word. Thank you for our
absolutely.
Honestly, she hit on that idea of, you know, people want to call them roles, and this is where the feminists. I'm sorry, those and let me just, I'm gonna say this because it's in my book.
Girl, you go.
Girl, say it. This is our show. We can say what we want.
Women need to stop listening to white feminists. They are not fighting.
Okay.
Get the organ player. Okay. Get the organ ready.
Okay.
We're gonna bust out in the Holy Ghost right now.
Listen,
a little louder for the people in the back. They're
not for us. Okay. Stop. Enough. Like this idea of feminism was not made for Black women. So all of this, let's go what they're into their marches. They ain't marching for you, sis. Enough. This brand of feminism is actually ruining Black families.
It is.
And it's actually ruining theirs too.
It is.
They just don't realize it yet.
When they do realize it, it'll be too late.
And I do say, when I am talking to people and I'm like, I consider myself a feminist, and they're like, well, define feminist. Feminism means I'm proud of being a woman and I act in my feminine energy as often as I possibly can.
Exactly.
Because that's what God intended me to do, or else I wouldn't be a woman. He would have made me into a man. But I'm a woman. So I act and I move in my feminine energy. And that is what it is to be a feminist. Saying that you are so strong that you don't need nobody is not for me. And that is based on white feminism. It's based upon white women that were rich and had money and could afford to burn all their bras.
Good for them.
We
had no bras to burn. We were enslaved.
Didn't have bras to burn. Or if they even did, they had maybe one or two bras, and they were struggling. All of them. And they were struggling, and they were trying to get work so they could buy a third bra. Okay,
thank you. It's
so that part of history is not for me.
That's it.
Because equality doesn't just mean equality for white women. Equality means equality for every single person based on their color, their nationality, their religion, whatever it is. That's what it's based upon. So I can't sign to, you know, feminism that's just out here to save white rich ladies.
That's all it's for. And I love what you said too, you know, with women saying, you know, I don't need a man, I don't need nobody. Because you always tell me this all the time. You're always telling me, Telly, watch your words, because the universe gives and takes.
Okay.
And every time you keep saying, oh, I don't need no man, I don't need anybody.
Okay.
You say now you need anybody.
Okay.
So now your friend
Okay.
that's like, you know what, I had a great guy lined up that
However.
can introduce you to, but since you just said you don't want nobody,
Mhm.
I'll just move. The universe is just gonna pass him on to another girl, and they're all happy, and you're sitting there in your, you know, mash up self, wondering, well, how come I ain't got nobody?
Thank
Well,
you.
because
And you know what?
this.
I want exactly, and she pointed to her mouth for people that want to know.
Oh right, yeah. I can't.
And I want to also, I'm bringing this up because I do want to remind people. I want to bring them back down to the earth a bit and let them know that, look, when we even speak about, you know, right now we're talking about the Black family, basically, but we're really talking about even interracial families as well, because I know many white men that, you know, they've dated or date Black women. And I remember one of my friends, he told me, he's like, you know what, he's in a relationship with a Black woman, and he's like, you know, like, me and this girl, we've been going for a while, and they had been going for a while, and I'm like, how are things going? He's like, it's going great. He's like, she loves to make fried fish. She loves to make fried fish. And the thing is, he's like, Garcia, she loves doing that for me. She loves doing that for me. She loves to cook for me. And I just let her, she loves to set the table up and really, like, she really, she really enjoys the idea of putting the table together, sitting down to a meal with me and cooking. That's her thing. That's what she loves to do. I like to wash the dishes. So that's what I do. I'm the cleanup guy. I like to clean up. I like to take out the garbage. I like to, like, that's who he is.
Right.
And their relationship is going fine. She is not walking around saying, well, I'm not cooking because I am a strong woman. She is living in this energy of, I love to serve my man meals. And the meals, he enjoys it because she can cook. So he's fine with that. And what I'm saying is that even in this interracial relationship, you see that by her embracing that feminine energy, she's keeping her man. Okay. And he's responding by doing what? By cleaning. Okay. When's the last time y'all man cleaned for you?
Well,
girl, go there.
Right? Because they're too busy trying to lead when they need to follow. Because on this Facebook post, I saw this woman had the nerve to say, oh, we are expected to raise them and then I'm supposed to follow them. I was like, girl, child, like, that sounds like therapy waiting.
How would someone put this on a public post?
I was like, oh, that sounds like some therapy. And here's the thing, you know, in our promo video, I purposely put a picture of Barack and Michelle. And I put a picture of Barack and Michelle because if you read Michelle's story, you know, Michelle Obama was, you know, getting into her career when Barack started at the firm that they both were at. And she was on her way to be this very powerful, successful woman. And she had to take a step back to allow her husband to shine. And that was him becoming president, our forever president of the United States of America, right? So he had to take several seats, right? And she had to grit her teeth as a Black woman when we let, and say, you know what? This is what my man wants to do. I don't want to be in the public eye with my children, but this is what he wants to do. So I'm gonna step back to allow him to be. Because had Michelle said, sorry, Barack, no, we would not have had the experience that we had of 8 years. And say what you want about Barack in the United States, it is what it is. He, in our opinion, was a terrific president. And he changed the
look
at what they're dealing with.
And not to come off the topic, but looking at what's going on right now in the USA, right at this specific moment, y'all wish we were back to 8 years ago with Barack Obama, because by now you would have already received your stimulus package and you wouldn't be wondering where you're going to be living December 31st. But anyways.
We digress.
Anyways, I'm feeling a bit feisty today. I'm a bit
you know what? It's called truth.
I'm not giving a fuck.
Don't. It's called truth. It's called truth. You know the truth, and don't want
the reality is, even as the strongest of women, which Michelle for a lot of Black women epitomizes the strength of a Black woman, she took several seats.
She took a lot of seats.
She did.
True.
Because
she did. She's a strong woman,
and sometimes we need to take several seats so that our men can pursue. Again, I'm going to tell the story for those who haven't heard it. When my boyfriend said, sometimes a man wants to come home and say, baby, I'm going to the moon. And you say, when are we leaving? Not, you ain't got moon money. Well, you just left the house and now you want to go. Where's the rocket ship?
How do you know? When did you learn to get to the moon?
It's always a negative.
You can barely spell your name. Where do you think you're going?
And he just wants to be like, because I'm like, okay, what time we leaving and what do I need to pack? Like, I'm about to take some selfies on the moon.
All of that and then some.
Like, I am not about to go turn around to him and say, what the hell's wrong with you? What do you know? You know about going to the moon. Like, if this is the partner that you've chosen, again, we're going to keep using that word partner, then you should trust that your partner has a plan, even if you don't know what that plan is.
That's it.
That's it.
Some things you don't have to know.
Some things you don't have to know. And, we have another comment from our girl here. Knowing when to have a seat and let your man shine can open doors of confidence to let him be the greatest version of himself. That brings us to that great saying, behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
Uniquely
stronger because she decided to
giving her all kinds of snaps.
All these snaps.
Yeah, all these snaps.
All these snaps are for you, girl.
All these snaps. That is a word right there. That is a word right there. You know, I think of people, even like we think of Oprah and her man, Stedman. Now, Oprah's soup again, like Michelle Obama. Yes, they don't even need the last name anymore. It's Oprah and it's Michelle. We know who you're talking about, right? And even as powerful as Oprah is, we don't see her in her man's business.
No.
Like, we wouldn't even know who he is if, the paparazzi wasn't out here being nosy.
True.
And he has his own life. He's out there doing his own speeches, running his own business. He's the star of his show. And she's not trying to get in on his show. Nope. She's over here with her own, right? And that is why they're still together. There's no way that she could be working through her masculine energy and using that in her relationship with Stedman, or else they would not be together.
But women over here making $55,000 trying to run somebody's. Come on, I'm sorry. Let me. You over here with $55,000 talking about you gonna run some. What, girl?
What are you running? What are you running?
And while you're thinking about that, and while you're doing that, I do just want to say again, thank you so much to Radio Regent for having us on their lovely, lovely internet radio station. We enjoy everyone there, everyone that's helped us to put this show together to improve it. And of course, all of you out there that listen, definitely reach out to us through our Instagram account, Not Your Typical Girl Talk, our Facebook group, Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And, send us an email, send us a comment, even here on this show right now. What are you thinking? What are your views? We want to hear them, even if they're totally opposite of ours. This is how we all learn. We want to hear what you've got to think. So thank you again, Radio Regent, syndicated through iHeartRadio, for having us on.
And thank you, Uniquely.
Yes, thank you.
Uniquely's on a roll. She's having a conversation right now with her partner about this.
It's conversations that need to be had, right?
Yes.
You need to be able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that you're going to be in about what your non-negotiables look like. And that is important for people to do, because I don't know if those conversations are having. Are you sitting down and saying, this is what I'm looking for and this is what my non-negotiables are? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to step back and do? Or if you're a woman who's on the go, are you willing to step back and not work for a period of time if your partner needs to start a business and you need to be home with the kids? Like, what are you okay with being the one who's the breadwinner if he wants to stay home with the kids? Because this happens. Like, people need to have those conversations in their homes so that they're not in a situation where they're like, oh my God, I didn't know what my partner wanted like 2 years into the relationship. Like, stop it.
Girl. I do have a question for you, though. True. This brings up a great, you said something and immediately I went, whoa, wait, yes. Does a man lose leadership simply because he's lost his job or chose to not work so he can start a business?
Positively not in my world.
Girl. I know,
not to me.
I know, not in your worlds. I already knew what you guys would say. But let's admit it. Some of these women are out here saying, well, you ain't bringing in any money right now, so who said you're leading nothing or nobody?
And you know what? You know where that's going to lead him? Right out the door. That's where he's going to go. It's going to lead him right out the door to some women who can show him the respect that he's looking for. Because ultimately, this emasculation, especially of Black men, that is not, again, Black men have been taking lashes for generation and generation. And the last thing they're lashing from their women about everything that they do. Because the same way you lashed, he got lashed, as a slave, some women are lashing them. And no man wants no tongue lashing from no woman. Stop this.
Girl, listen, I have a saying, and my saying is this.
All of that.
And I always say it all the time to everybody. I'm like, listen, if my man wants to go to the baseball game, and everyone in my life knows I hate baseball. I think it's one of the stupidest sports. Don't come for me. Okay, don't come for me. But if my man comes and he's like, I want to go to the baseball game, let's go, babe. I'd be like, what time does it start? Let me just go get my stupid baseball hat.
That's all.
I am going to the baseball game because he asked me to go. And as long as I can go, I'm going. Because if I'm not going, guess what? Someone other woman will.
Gonna go.
Don't be making men feel small.
It's give and take too. It's give and take. You can't be take. You're not giving. Come on.
You just said a chapter, a verse, a whole word, a whole book. Stop making, especially Black men, because Black men, again, I love me some Black men. My man's watching. I love you, babe. To make a Black man in this world, in his home, feel small is going to get you nowhere.
Nowhere.
All that to do that. So when he comes home, I'm not saying wash his feet and do all of that. But you don't need to be giving him what the rest of the world is already giving him. Before he got through that, it's hard to even get in your home, park the car, like all the stuff he's had to do with her. And then you want to come in and make him feel small, like less up. Because here's the thing, a man can protect. I think a lot of people look at stability and only tie it to finance.
That's true. And funny you say that, because even Uniquely was saying, hell no, because money is not what makes him a leader or the man.
That part.
Exactly. It's, again, you go back to plain old science. Okay. We don't even need to get spiritual. We can go back to science. Men are built, as Ryan said here,
man can't be house husband.
The man is the provider, hence he will lose it. If you look at the animal kingdom, which we are a part of the animal kingdom, let's not put ourselves above everybody else because we think we're so great.
It's because we can talk in English.
Listen, the males do what they do.
That's it.
right? And the females
do what they
do. And we don't see in the animal kingdom, we don't see them all holding little signs and protesting about how they're not gonna do this and they don't want to do that. They're not out there doing that.
The female elephants do their thing. The male elephants do what they do. Lions know how to hunt. King lions know what to do. There's no protesting. So how come they know what to do and human beings don't?
I'm a Black woman. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I carried a lot of weight. Bring it home. I'll clean it and go, but I don't want to hunt. Like we've been doing it. The thing is, Black women, when we are not in a relationship, and if we have to be the head of our household, that's exhausting enough. And so for me personally, my partner came around and I was like, oh God, these weights have been heavy. Let me drop them down right here. Go, baby. Like, I got you. Like, go.
Yes.
I will watch all of that. Because I'm tired. I've been carrying this weight on my back, and now you're here telling me, baby, put it down. I'm going to fight you. Oh, no.
Exactly. And the thing is, you know, like I'm single. I'm a single female, but when I am out with men, either, you know, as friends or whatever,
I love Ryan.
I know.
Women won't hunt.
Yeah, women won't hunt. Even as friends, even in a platonic relationship, they are like, you sit down. What do you want? Okay. I will go order it.
Okay.
I will go get your iced coffee. You want an iced coffee? I'm going to go get it while you sit here. Why am I going to get it?
Because you're a woman and women can do things on their own. They don't need nobody.
No, what I need is for the man to pick up the Chesterfield to put it out on the curb because I'm not picking it up.
You're not busting up your back.
No. The only thing I pick up is my handbag and my clothes.
And prance your way to the car for him to open the door, and then you sit,
you know,
and he closes it back.
It's something like,
supposed to be.
You know, and the thing is, we have to look at the values, right? We talk about values a lot on here. Women need to start valuing themselves. Julie Black, who is a R&B singer here in Canada, she's like, you know, our Mary J. Blige.
Amen to that.
She did a very interesting thing on social media where she was in her bed lying down and she looked, and beside her was another pillow, you know, where, you know, her man would be lying down, and she said, listen, this is a VIP spot.
Okay.
This is a VIP spot.
Okay.
This spot is reserved for men that are going to serve me only. This is not a free for all. This is not where everybody gets up in this bed.
Nope.
She's like, this is a special place. I am no longer standing for a lot of the bullshit that's been going on.
Thank you.
And as women, with our behavior, when we behave in a certain way, we are showing how much we value ourselves.
Yep.
Women, we are queens. We are not supposed to be out here struggling, trying to shovel and use the snowblower at the same time.
Unless you want to mash up yourself, well then go ahead.
This is not it. This is not what we're here to do. We are here to nurture. We're here to support. We are here to make space for our men and our children and make ourselves and get to our highest potential. That's what we're here to do.
Outside, the people who are not West Indian, it's so fun. Sort them outside.
The man
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any of that. None of it. Why am I doing that? And
yeah, I don't know where.
I'll give him a back massage when he's done lifting it.
Okay.
That's as deep as my hands go.
And when he's done shoveling, I will be there with the hot chocolate. And yes, I will be there.
I'll pat his back and all that, but I'm not busting my butty. No, yo.
And you know what? Uniquely said something here, which is interesting. But men feel like they are being a gal clown for treating their women like a lady or helping her with the load. I don't know where that came from. You know what, girl? It came from women acting the fool.
Yep.
I'm going to say something that is going to be very unpopular, and people, please do come for me. I'm okay. I got these big legs and a round derriere for a reason. That is a Toronto man syndrome right now. Okay?
Toronto,
excuse me. Thank you.
Toronto waste man.
That is a Toronto man syndrome.
Amy, I had to get up and leave my seat for a second because it's true.
Toronto man syndrome, because Toronto men always talk about Toronto women, so I'm gonna have my moment. Toronto men syndrome feel as if taking care of a woman, in the words of some Jamaican men, makes them a cloffy or a clown. Okay? Toronto man syndrome. And they don't, because the thing about it is, if you live outside of Toronto is a very big city with some of the most beautiful women in the world. That's why rappers talk about them, we're everybody's song, and it's not just Drake. Like Ludacris has been talking about us since the 90s, right? Like people talk about Toronto. Toronto has some of the most beautiful women in the world, but Toronto also has more women than men. And so men feel like just because they have options, they can go on a certain type of way. Okay? And therefore, so I remember somebody had a conversation with me, and I didn't know that this was even a thing. So he was saying to me that he appreciates when he asks somebody out to dinner, which is a woman, that she does the pump fake. I was like, what is a pump fake? Like, that sounds like a ball thing. I watch ball, like I play ball. Like, what is that's a ball move, right? Like pump fake. Like he was like, oh no, when she goes and says that she's going to get the check even if she has no intentions of paying.
You know, it's funny. This reminds me, actually, what you just said now, Shiva. It reminds me of a conversation that we had with Anne.
Yes.
You guys remember Anne from yes. And I remember last year over the summer, we were talking, and she was a little bit, feeling a little ways, and we were just talking about Toronto men. And she was kind of frustrated because she was saying, I don't get it, guys. Why are Toronto men like this? And I remember saying to her, you know what? I told her that I had a separate conversation with someone else, and I came to the conclusion that the reason why Toronto men are the way they are is because they're spoiled. Unfortunately, women from black to white to Indian to Chinese have spoiled all Toronto men. Not even black, I shouldn't say that. All Toronto men. Toronto men, I know a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but I clown him a lot, saying, one day you're going to get it. He will go into a bar, he will find a woman, and they'll start talking and what have you. He'll take them home the same night. That woman and him will have their intercourse. And the next day he's out getting another woman again. Yeah. And these women, he's so used to it. He's like, Chantel, I don't need to be in a relationship.
It's so easy.
Because that's what he said. He said, it's so easy for me. I just go chat up a woman. The woman's like, oh my gosh. And, because women, unfortunately, are so desperate to be in a relationship, they forget all their morals. They forget all their values. The big talk they had before is gone out the damn window because they're so desperate for a man that they just sleep with him. And he's like, Chantel, I don't need a relationship.
So why should he be holding the door for anybody if he's going to get it anyway? Why should he be carrying her grocery bags? Why should he be pumping gas for her? Thank you, Ryan, for that. Why would the guy do that when he knows he can just get sex for just being a male?
Exactly. Because like Toshiba said, there are more women in Toronto than men. So the men are just like, well, I'm getting the milk for free, so I don't have to pay for it.
Men in Toronto, let me just, for all the women out there, men in Toronto, for instance, when I go to New York, when I go to Vegas, when I go to Chicago, the men.
I wish that anyone's not watching this right now.
I wish
you could
listen. I'll be walking just casually through New York, Chicago.
Girl,
I'll be wearing New Balance. I'm not even wearing my good athleisure clothes. I'm wearing like New Balance and some cheap leggings. And mans come. Mans.
And they won't stop till they get your number.
Mans come. And they are like, hello, beautiful, hello, da-da-da. My name is blah, blah, blah. When are you free to go out?
Okay.
Toronto. Let me tell you, Toronto, you dress to the nine.
Mm-hmm.
You smell good. Your hair is on point.
Okay.
Your body is tight and
right. All of that.
And you could stand in the middle of a bar for hours. And all you're going to get is a bunch of eyeballs looking at you. You're not going to get one man to walk up to you and say, hi, beautiful. You look great tonight. My name is Frank. What's yours? You're not going to get it. Because that's Toronto.
That's Toronto man.
That's why there's so many single women in Toronto.
And like Ryan said, Toronto men were raised well.
Girl.
And I agree with
amen. Listen, and again, I was like, come for me. Like, I'm okay with it. Come for me because I'm fine, because that's the reality. And the thing about it is, I'm going to go back to what Telly was saying. I can't blame men when women make it easy for them. Let me tell you, I got cussed out stink during the summer. Okay, by a girl, I got cussed stink. I was told that the only men who will want me are Americans. God bless them. My boyfriend's American. Hey, baby, if you're watching. Okay. Because this mentality that I have that, you know, for a man to be a leader, he's a provider and a protector and the chivalry and the opening of doors, and I'm not going to get that because it's 2020 and things are hard and this, that, and next thing and Ray and blah, blah. Listen, I've been getting cussed out for the last 20 years because for the last 20 years of my life, I've dated mostly American men, right? Like, it is what it is, right? And Cartia, listen, if anyone watches this, we are very attractive women here. And
yes, we are.
I was single for almost 6 years living in Toronto. And just like Cartia said, when I go to the States, I actually make jokes with people. I'm like, as soon as I cross the border, I swear I'm prettier. I don't know. My daughter who's 19 now, we went to New York. I think she was 13, 14 at the time. And she was just like, wow. Like, she got to a point where she was like, I'm sorry, like, me and my mom are just trying to walk. Like, I don't want to be rude. My mom, because she was just like, even overwhelmed with the attention that as her mom. And she's like, Mommy, I don't see this in Toronto. And I'm like, I swear I get prettier when I cross the border, right? Yep. However, I'm going to also say that I can't blame men when women make it easy. If your brethren is just going to have it that easy, if women out here are really doing pump fakes, and I was in a women's group and women did say, oh, they don't want to be obligated to a man, so they insist on picking up the first check. Bitch, where?
Your microphone.
Even the microphone. Like, what? Even the microphone is confused.
Linda? Is that you, Linda?
No. Oh, okay. They don't even want to get a free meal out of it.
My imaginary pearls, and I was like, because what you've done is you've taken the leadership role away from that man.
Lord,
that's it.
That's
and again,
something.
It's a give take. You've got to show yourself value. When that man realizes that you value yourself, guess what? He's going to know that he needs to open the damn door. He's going to know that he's going to need to provide. He's going to know that he's going to need to give you the attention you deserve. He's not going to be like, you know what, this girl, she's worth more than a one night stand.
Yep.
I can't do this to this girl. If I'm going to be with this girl, I need to put my all in because that's how she values herself.
That part. Listen, don't women be out here listening to other very lonely, bitter women who go around tell them that they should either wait for a man or treat a man this way. And listen, let me tell you something. When a man sees a woman that he wants, he does whatever it takes to get that woman. So y'all, relationships for eons of donkey years, talk when a man's telling you, babe, I'm not ready. Girl, he ain't ready for you. You ain't it. Sorry, baby girl.
Well, that's it. We've all seen it. When men want your attention,
they'll stop at nothing.
They're gonna keep calling. They're gonna keep texting.
Yep.
You won't have to be like, oh, let me wait 3 days and then I'll call. You won't have time. He's not gonna have time for those silly rules. He's gonna be like, I need
this woman in my life.
I need to get her to go out with me tonight.
Yep. That's it.
So I mean, as women, we have to start looking at ourselves as higher value than we're doing because we are the ones that spoil the men.
Yep.
You know, and I don't know if, you know, sometimes you can even tell the difference between men that were raised by certain different, in Toronto, Canada, we have a lot of immigrants. That's one thing Toronto is very famous for. And you can definitely sometimes tell the difference between some cultures versus other cultures, and then as to how they treat women in relationships. Because some men, because they've been spoiled enough, they are now, they open the door, their girlfriend's behind them, the door slams right in her face.
They treat their girlfriend like shit. They treat their girlfriends like shit.
When they go to Walmart, she's the one dragging the cart with all the stuff in it.
And she's paying for the stuff too.
And he's there with the car key.
Browsing.
She's paying for his stuff.
Like our friend Ryan said earlier.
Ryan said it best. Women walking with grocery bags and men walking with car keys, or men are sitting in cars while women are pumping gas. I'm sorry. You've actually, and that word, I love that word, Karcia. Value is so important. What value are you adding to someone, and what value are they adding to you? Me and my boyfriend talk about that all the time, in business and in life. If we can't do business with anybody who isn't going to add value, right? If this person isn't going to add value to our business, or we can't see where we can add value, and that's not a business.
Exactly.
Same with the relationship.
Exactly.
If I add no value to him and he adds nothing to me, thank you. It's been fun, but I gotta go, because I'm not here to detract from you. Life is like assets and liabilities, right? Like assets and liabilities. Is someone an asset or a liability? And a lot of the times, some people walking around here thinking they're assets and they're liabilities. Girl, that's why you got to pay for dinner.
Girl,
because I pay.
Listen, girl, all of that.
Listen,
all of that.
I am the person that, listen, my parents, have been married for 50 plus years. And my parents, to me, are the template for how we need to embrace who we are in our relationships and let each other shine. Because my mom is better at some things than my dad, and my dad is way better at some things than my mom. But because they let each other shine in their own way when it is time to shine, they are still married. My father is an alpha male. He is a male through and through. He's a man, like a lion with the biggest mane in the jungle.
Roaring his voice, and the whole land can hear him.
Right, that's who he is. And my mother, through time, and she'll say this, she says, you just have to know. She's like, when you have your man, you know how far you can go. You know what to say and when to say it. You know when to back up. You know when to dance off the stage right.
That is Michelle and Oprah.
And let him do his solo.
Yep.
And if women, and that's our Mama Campbell, right? And if women, and there are, I'm sure all over the world, there are many women that have been in marriages for over 20 years or whatever that could say, yes, that's exactly why this is still around. This relationship would not have lasted if we did not learn each other and learn how we work. And the problem now is, because of spoil, people don't even stay in relationships long enough to get to know each other.
And
the littlest thing.
And they want to poke. They want to see how far they can go. Listen, when you were a child and your hand got on that fire and it hurt, you took it off. You didn't let it stay there. But a lot of women are keeping their hand in the fire when it comes to relationship and wondering why them also burn down. Okay? Your house is burning down because you're keeping things on the fire that don't need to be there. Your house is burning down. And you cannot poke. Like they say, don't poke the bear, right? They say that Kyle Lowry, by the way. Raptors are playing tonight. But they say, what happens when you poke the bear? The bear attacks back.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. You only bug someone for so long.
Yes.
They're gonna flap in your face, and maybe they should.
At some moment, Mama Campbell's right. You kind of go, because I've had that moment where I feel like I'm like, oh no.
You do your dance.
This because like, nah, like that's not gonna get me what it is that I want out of this situation, right? Like, you know, I've had points where I've gotten off the phone and went to meditate and then called my man back because I'm like, I'm in a space right now that I'm going to say something that's just not going to be good, and being the man that he is, because just like, you know, Papa Campbell, my man is a true and true alpha male, 6'9", okay, like alpha male, okay, like he's not bad, man.
Yeah.
The lion in the jungle with the big name.
When they roar, the whole planet hears them.
Poking him all the time and just letting that go. Like, that's just not going to happen. And so, and guess what? At one point, you poke the bear, turn around and bite off your finger, right? So that's just how the world is going to work. We need to know, again, I'm going to say it again, just because his light is shining does not make yours dim. You guys have mentioned two powerful women in Michelle and Oprah. Their light has been shining. Even when they've had to take several seats, Michelle's light was still shining. She was just in a different lane. When she was first lady, she was in a completely different lane, and she was shining. Barack didn't interrupt her lane, and she didn't interrupt his.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it's supposed to go.
Here they are. They're fine.
Still a power couple.
Still
slaying it left, right, and center. Still madly in love. Why? Because they give and they take.
You got to know. You got to know when.
It's a dance.
And you got to give the relationship the energy that it needs so you can figure that out. You know, calling your man a sissy and then expecting him to be okay with that.
That's not right.
I've seen couples get into mad fights because
not right.
The woman called her man a sissy. And I'm like, girl, you know that. I'm like, girl, you know that wasn't the right thing to say.
It's not called for.
Like, come on, girl. You could have called him anything else. Don't call him a bitch. Don't say those things. Find something else to call him.
Or just walk away.
You know certain things are going to tick him off. Why do you say those things?
All of that. As we are running out of time, and this has been a great episode, and we've had a great audience. And Ryan says, I see so often, I see women pumping gas, and I go over to approach her, and when I look in the car, I see the man. That's a no from us.
No, you see.
So, you know, I'm going to make that my closing, my close statement for today, is that if my friends, not even my boyfriend, not even a man I'm dating, but men that are my friends, come out of my car and pump my gas for me without me asking, women, we've got to start, we've got to do better. We're here for us. We got to start serving us. Self-love means having those boundaries. It means saying, I'm of high value. You know, and again, when we look at feminism, try to make it personal to yourself, because again, what we know as feminism isn't exactly meant for you. If you are a Black woman, if you are an Indigenous woman, if you are a person of color, the form of feminism that is being promoted around the world is not meant for you. It is not for you.
You know, my takeaway is to embrace your femininity and let the man be a man. Like, let's put away this whole angry, mad woman that's just on this rampage to take up manly roles. I love men and I want to be treated as a queen. Even the queen has well, in this case, a king. You know what I'm talking about?
Even the queen has a prince.
Yeah. And so what's wrong with your prince or your king wanting to treat you like the queen you are? Nothing's wrong with it. So I'm going to tell my friends out there who are listening, embrace being a woman and love it. And don't be dry up with your man because he wants to open a pickle jar for you.
Sorry with the dry up. Sorry. Okay. My takeaway, I've got a couple. I'm dying in the pickle jar. But again, I'm going to repeat it because I think it's worth repeating. Just because his light is shining does not make yours dim. There is no such thing as 50-50. Sometimes some people got to lead, some people got to follow, and sometimes you're just in your own lane because you shine brightly in your own lane. Let a man who wants to be a man, because the problem is those women that Ryan are seeing that's got men sitting in the passenger side while they're pumping gas, wish they had a man like Ryan who would have offered to help them. But now they're stuck with some frowsy man who's sitting in a passenger seat with his feet up, talking about he ain't getting them pumping no gas. If my man can take a cross-country trip from one state to the next state to the next state, and I never drove once, y'all can have a man who just pumps some gas. That is my.
Thank you so much, everyone,
so
for
much,
listening
Radio Region,
and for watching. Radio Region, thank you so much for having us broadcast on you, and thank you. A big shout out to iHeartRadio. Follow us on all of our social medias at Not Your Typical Girl Talk. We want to hear from you. We want to see you. We love you. Thank you, everyone. Join us again next week. These combos get better and juicier and spicier every time.
Well, Ryan has one word before we go. Ryan says, I wish I could put you 3 ladies together to make one and marry you all. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
And what a woman she would be.
Right? What a woman she would be.
Goodbye.
Bye.